Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. How's everyone doing? Time for some experiments today. What's a kudu, Alex? Glad you made it to the stream and glad to hear the hunting was good. Just didn't ask well enough if you were the guys hunting or you guys were the hunted ones. Hey Scotsman. How's it doing, Mr. Train? Getting into the hang of things as well. Great to see it from your perspective, the greatness that is trains. We'll do some trains tomorrow, guys. In case you haven't seen the announcement in Discord, make sure you join the Discord. I make all the announcements there now. So we'll be having a train sim stream tomorrow. And yes, for sure Scotsman will help me out a lot there again. I think PDX will also join, or I think he's PXD now. Hey Tom, thanks for joining. No worries, man. And yes, all the best to your mom. Hope she gets better soon. Sorry to hear that. Patrick, glad you made it. Were you with Alex and Jack hunting? Hope you weren't hunted as well. Cellabones, how's it doing? Have you guys tried the 8V92 yet? I actually haven't. Zmod hasn't messaged me. I'm not sure if he'll be giving me a copy. Maybe I'll have to ping him or something. Nice ping, oh yes. Expect more to come. Mute away if that's not your thing. More manual sim. Yes, definitely. Definitely more manuals coming in. Actually, let me test that now. That's working. 1 second. Is it? There it is, but kind of out of whack, isn't it? Yeah, let's fix that a bit. If I reset that guy, because I think we'll be using this a lot right now. There you go. Let's do it that way maybe. Put that somewhere in the middle like so. That should work. Yeah, instead of me having to drag the window around, that might be easier because we'll have to switch back and forth with it. So me pressing a button might actually be easier in the long run. Alright, there we go. So yes, today we will be doing some experiments, guys, and I will need your help because I'm not really familiar with these procedures. So we'll do it step by step. We'll need a lot of referencing with the manual here. And yes, I'll definitely need your help on that. Also, I might forget from time to time to remove the manual or to put it in like so. So you'll have to help remind me as well in chat if it's not aligned. You know, I'm pointing at something in the manual and I'm not showing it. That's one disadvantage. But I'm sure you guys will help me out there. Okay, looking good? Yes, oh yes, that's true. I heard about it from... Was it Larger who posted the video in Discord? Yeah, I'm not so hyped about it. You guys know me, I'm not really much into races. To be honest, it feels more like a gimmick to me, but I'm sure some people will enjoy that. Not my thing though, just not my thing. I'm sure it's going to hype a lot of people up, so that's good overall. Feels more like going towards the direction of games than a simulator, but... Bro. Yeah, I'm sure it will appeal to some people. Bro. Yes, okay, so let's get started. I am going to start off. You can see the livery as well. We are authorized to do some experiments today. We are representing, maybe we shouldn't, the US Navy. I found this nice livery and I wanted to fly with it ever since, but we were in Europe. But today, we'll be in the US because in addition to the DC-6 experiments, I'm also be showing this here. I made a video on this. Where is it? There you go. Black squares, real taxiways. I made a video on this already. This covers, I think the entire US, most of the US. over 1,000 airports modified and improved when it comes to taxiways. So the airport will be starting in today. It's in Eagle in Colorado, and it's included in here. There's a full list of airports that are included, and Eagle is this guy, Kilo Echo Gulf Echo. Can you guys see the mouse in the highlight? I think you can, right? Okay, yeah, it works. So yes, that is something that we'll be checking out as well. So more realistic taxiways, more accurate and better looking, more understandable, even without consulting the charts alone. Right? So we'll see how that looks. Also, I chose Eagle because I was watching Premier One Driver. If you guys watch him on YouTube, amazing guy, amazing super rich guy who has his own private jet. And he flew from Eagle. It looks very nice. The scenery is very nice, although I'm not sure, to be honest, if the weather today is very nice, but we'll see. But it is quite interesting because this airport has a mountain right off the runway. So as you take off from the runway, you have to turn left immediately. It's part of the standard instrument departures that when you take off, you turn left immediately, because if you don't, if you just go straight, you'll head straight into the mountain. And me heading into mountains, I think that's an often enough occurrence. Basing on this diagram alone, it looks like the weather is good, at least from the clouds point of view. I don't see any clouds. I do see some kind of low pressure area in there kind of thing, but over here it doesn't seem like there's any clouds. We'll see if that's accurate enough. Oh, this is actually pretty close to Aspen. I see. Ah, cool. Is anyone familiar with this airport, Eagle? Let's see where we can start here. Real taxiways for Canada, I wish. Yeah, for now it's only the US, but I hope they also add other countries, other regions, Europe and Asia. Your airport is listed. Which one is that? Nice. Western Colorado, yes. And we don't really have a destination in mind. And that's the great thing about having the DC-6. You don't have to program a flight plan, right? Just let's wing it. We'll focus today on the experiments. If we manage to finish those experiments in one piece and still airborne, then we'll think about landing. We'll see where we are. We'll see what the nearest airport is, and then we'll land. But yeah, that's not the highest priority at the moment. I hope we can finish it that way though. That will be great. Now, it does seem like the parking is not fully aligned. You can see it's kind of in the middle of the taxiway here. Bit of inaccuracy there, I guess. But I guess we can pick this guy right here. That should work. There you go. Ramp GA small doesn't sound proper though. Are these all small? There's medium at least. Okay, let's pick that guy. GA medium is right there. Okay, that should be a bit bigger space. Hopefully. We'll see. Let's go live weather. Yeah, live time. We might need to adjust the time because it will get dark in a while, as Tom said. So we'll see. Kilo Bravo Whiskey India. Ah, one of the Bravo airports. Nice. What's the name of that airport? I think we flew through there once, right? When we were looking for your house. Is that the same one? Looking good. All right, let's see how this goes. So we might have to change the time, but that's okay. We can probably make it around 3 p.m. just so we have some nice lighting overall. Hey Jack, yar! Glad you made it, man. Sorry couldn't drop by the hunting stream. I heard from Alex it went well. Did it go well for the animals or for the hunters? Triple monitors are crazy. Oh yes, I'm still using it right now. It's great. It's great. Thanks, Scotsman. Looking good, guys. Baltimore, Washington. Ah, there you go. There you go. Thank you. Very nice livery here. I've been meaning to try it out. There it is. And look at the altimeter, guys. 6,500. Although we might have to change that because we haven't seen the local altimeter here yet. And speaking of altimeter, I have to change the unit of measure for the US system, so that what we see on the altimeter was there. Yes, the inches of mercury. Oh, that's nice. Even the plate here is representative of the real plane, I think. Super cool. Alright, it's pretty nice. What plane is that? Okay, but yes, so far so good. I think we can go with this. 1 second. What I can do as well is I can change the traffic to live traffic so that it's easier on the performance. There you go. Not as heavy on the CPU. Hunter won this time. Wow. Congrats. Had cookies. Now you're making me hungry. Your phone has cookies. That's a good point. Alright, let's have a look at the chart here. Let me load in Navigraph. And let's look for that mountain. I think it's from runway 25. So we'll see how that looks. We turn off the location here in Navigraph. Alright. So if we look at Eagle, that's the guy. Eagle in Colorado. If you look at the charts, so that's where we are. If I put that in, that's where we are at the moment. Who made a joke? We looks like Alex was not included in that list. So runway 25, so if we depart from runway 25 this way to the west, there should be a mountain right in front of it. We will see. Also, let's take note of the taxiways here and let's compare if that's accurate with what we see in the sim. Charlie 1, Alpha 2, because this is one of the improvements that Real Taxiway is doing. And also Real Taxiways, I didn't mention it yet, but this is still a work in progress. This is early access. This is not yet released to the public. Yeah, huge thanks to Just Flight for allowing me to check it out. So there might be some changes still that are pending. Alpha 4, is that right? Is it Alpha 4 in here? It is Alpha 4, this guy on the westbound side of the ramp. Alpha 4 and then Alpha. There is someone landing. There's someone landed. Okay, see? But they are actually... Let's have a look at the runway. Oh yeah, this is runway 25. So they are using runway 25. Someone just landed. This is live traffic, I think. Pretty cool. Let's see. And they disappeared. Like that. Okay. So these markings are from the Real Taxiways add-on as well as these markings here. Looking very nice. That's the mountain, guys. That's the mountain. Exactly as in Premier One Driver's video. As you depart from runway 25 like this one. See? If you just head straight and climb, it's going to be tough to beat that mountain. So the instrument departure tells you to go to the left. Actually, you know what? Let's have a look at that. Let's look for the SID. And I was happy to see that there is a non-RNAV departure because we won't have RNAV for this plane. We won't have GPS. So if we go for, like, for example, the Meeker 3 departure, runway 25, you can see so this is the runway, right? Runway 25 is westbound. You can see it asks you to turn left. So climbing, initial climb is climbing, left turn, heading 219er. So the runway is, runway heading is 253. We're going to turn left towards 219er. And then, upon crossing snow, VOR, 152 radial or 326, I think it's red table VOR here. 326 radial, so that point there, after we reach that point where my mouse is, then we can turn right. 1 second, turn right to 322 radial for red table. So turn right towards this point here, intercept 322 radial all the way to Melville and then Meeker. That is pretty cool. Okay. So that's roughly how it would go, our departure. Let me just double check that the weather is going to align with us. And yes, it's a very high elevation airport. I haven't tried taking off from high elevation airport like this with a DC-6. So we might need the entire runway. I'm not even sure if we can handle it, but I hope we can refer to some charts. Okay, so the weather in Eagle County is this one. One sec guys, I'll get back to chat in a bit. So that's Eagle. And you can see the weather icon in there. You see the green highlight with the white fill. That means it's a VFR because it's green. And because it's a white fill, that means it's clear. Yeah, no clouds, and it's accurate with what we're seeing outside in the sim. And then you can see the stalk here. That's telling you where the winds are coming from. So the winds are coming from the west, southwest. And then those little things are the intensity of the wind. So this is like 10 knots, I think, 1 notch. And then the orange one is gusting. So if we look at the weather, it should say something along those lines. So if you look at the METAR here, so Kilo Echo Golf Echo METAR, 24 is August 24, 23:56 Zulu, so that's the UTC time. 240, winds coming from 240 from southwest. 13, gusting 18 knots, so that's pretty consistent with what we see in the needles there. Okay, so that makes it that the runway preferred is indeed 25, so we are looking at the right runway at least. Pretty interesting. Okay, I'll take that. Oakland, California. We'll see if we get there. That's westbound, right? Yeah, we can try. We can try. Train sim counterpart. Counterpart. Plane is magical. Just trains, is it? Yeah, I think I've seen that. Does it also sell Train Sim World DLCs or something else? Cool. Alright. So that's the runway. Let's get back to the vehicle here, the plane. And yes, we'll be doing a lot of referencing with the manual. First and foremost, it might help. Let's get a nice angle from this runway, from this plane. Is the PDF shown, guys? Yes, it is, right? My preview screen's a bit delayed. Let's go do it that way. What is that guy doing below? That's dangerous. Okay, before we start up, I'd want to check some charts. I hope I can find some. I'd want to check this one, the minimum takeoff runway length. We might need this because it's a pretty intense airport in terms of altitude. So 1 second, let's do it this way. Let's first plug in the weights. Now, what kind of weights are we looking at? If I look at a full load here, actually we might be able to do it that way, right? Just have it full tank, everything, fuel 100%, and then we don't have any cargo because this is going to be experimental, and our gross weight will be 85,639. So still below, actually. If you guys remember, a wet takeoff is 87,600, so we're still below that. It's just fine, and the max gross weight is 107, so we should be more than capable. I think we'll do it this way. So let's remember that 85,639 is our gross weight. And let's see if we open the chart here again. They haven't made DLC for Train Sim World yet. Ah, okay. What have they made a DLC for? The original Train Sim, I imagine. Or for other sims, maybe. So how do you read this chart? Is it even readable, guys? I hope so. You can zoom in a bit, maybe. Is that zooming in for you too? Okay, let's see. Reported headwind. We do have headwind here. 1 second. Let's put it minimum takeoff runway length with injection. No, we're doing this dry, right? Not the wet takeoff. Hey, downtown! Glad you made it. How's it going? Thank you for 3 months. Oh my goodness. Glad you made it to the stream. How are things? Still super busy? When was your last flight? I'm hearing something. Must be live traffic somewhere. So let's have a look. Reported headwind speed. Do we remember what the headwind speed is? Let's go back to little nav map. It did say 13, gusting 18. Let's just put it at 13 maybe, or 15 just to be in the middle. So 15 knots would be our headwind, more or less. So let's go ahead and look at the chart again. So reported headwind would be somewhere here, right? And then how do you even read this? Where do you start? With these kinds of charts, they sometimes have an example to show how that goes, because normally you start from a point, you go to a line, and then you start from there, like you trace it from one point to the other. Maybe we can start with because what do we know? We know the altitude of the airport. We know our gross weight. So maybe those two we can use as our starting point. So Navigraph 6,500 is the airport elevation. So it would be somewhere here. My chart is showing, right? So it should be somewhere here in the middle. And our takeoff weight, you guys remember, is around, let's say 86,000. Oh, I don't have a way to mark this. Dang it. I don't think I can. Yeah, okay, let me just trace it with my mouse then. I have to download that application. So 6,500, and then to 86,000 is over on this side. Oh my goodness, that is really pushing it. We are right at the edge, I think. Yeah, we are right here at the edge of 86,000. Okay. And then how do you find the appropriate takeoff runway length in feet? Do I just move to the left like this? Maybe. So that would mean it. And then if we have a headwind, 13 knots, 15 knots would be somewhere here. So that would mean I would need around 6,500 feet in runway length, 6,300. If I did that right, that's how it should look like. Yeah, so from here going up and then going to the left, maybe that's how it is. No runway slope, standard atmospheric conditions, flaps 20 for takeoff. Yeah, looks good. Looks good so far. So we do have 9,000 feet in this airport. So we should be consuming 7,000 maximum. So I think it should work. Theoretically. We'll test that. So that's one of the tests we'll do. Hey, mechanical. Glad you made it, man. Perfect timing. Doing some experiments with the DC-6. Airport looks familiar. Ooh. So hot there. Probably March or April was our last flight. Oh my goodness. Busy bee indeed. We are at Eagle, guys, in Colorado. Because I just watched P1D's latest video. And I showed this to the other guys, but I really like this. This airport has a very unique feature in that after we take off, we have to turn left immediately because there is a mountain right in front of the runway here. Right? You can't just climb there. You have to turn to the left and avoid the mountain. So the departure will involve us. Where is it? Here. Immediately turning to the left and then turning right after we clear the mountain. It's quite interesting why the mountain is not represented here. Because the mountain would be somewhere here, I imagine. Or is it this one? But that seems too far. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Let's get back to the airport. Hello, fellow bros. Hey, bro. Alright. So let's start up the plane. So the plan for today, do some experiments, do some, first and foremost, start things off simple-ish. take off from a high elevation airport with a full tank, with full fuel tanks. And then once we get airborne, we'll follow the departure. Once we get stable, let's try and climb beyond the intended, or let's try and use those high blowers, because I don't know how to use that yet. If I look here, 1240 horsepower, we don't really have a choice. We have to stay at low blowers, so I can't use that. 1200, we do have a choice. So at 1200 torque meter horsepower, I can climb up to flight level 180, where I'll have to switch to high blowers at around 16,000 feet. I've never tried using this high blower feature before, so I want to try that. Alright. So we'll try and cruise at 18,000 at flight level 180. We'll see how that works. And then I also want to experiment with the auxiliary tanks, because I've never tried that before, and some of you guys might have, because it's not as simple. So let me see. Over here you can see we have main fuel tanks right here, and we have alternate fuel tanks. How it works when you're doing long flights, when you're on cruise, when you finally reach your cruising altitude, you switch from the main tanks to the alternate tanks, and there is a specific procedure that you have to do, certain steps, which I've never done and I want to get into. So those are not so standard. Don't normally do that unless you're flying long flights, long distances, where you have a need to have something in your alternate tanks. But I want to try it. And then once we do that, if we're successful and if we're still airborne by then, then we can think about oh, the PDF is in the way, huh? I just realized. Yes, thanks. Hey, recovery. The fuel management is cool. Oh yes, mechanical. Are you familiar with that? Maybe you can help me out later. We'll see. I'll try to read the manual, but yes, we'll need you guys. How's it going, recovery? Musta? Sup, brother? Oi! Nice to see fellow Filipinos. Button box with CB mic. Hirap maghanap sa Pinas. Hey Matt, I recommend, Matt, you can check out I'm not sure if he ships to the Philippines. I think so. But I bought my shifter from SKRS, from Almar SKRS. He sells shifters and button boxes, and he's able to ship internationally, all the way from Poland. So there are some shipping costs, but should be worth it. And he does quality stuff from what I've seen. Alright, so we'll do that as well. The switching to fuel tanks. And if we're still successful with that, then we can start getting into the emergency procedures, because I want to try this out, how this works. Like, while on the air, turning off one engine, feathering it, seeing what the effect is. If you don't feather, if you have 3 engines only, can you still stay airborne? Do you have to go lower, or these kinds of things? And then we can try and unfeather it. Now, how successful we will be, I'm not sure, because I've never done this. As you guys might know, I don't like preparing for stuff. I like making things as realistic as possible, and I'm so lazy, so I don't like to prepare. so we'll do it together. Okay, we'll see how that works. All right, so let me go through the checklist here. Oh, there's someone who landed again. So let's start the plane first and foremost. Sure thing, Matt. Good luck. I am using OBS Studio, not the Streamlabs OBS, because I started with OBS Studio, and by the time Streamlabs OBS, there we go. I was muted, wasn't I? Yes. So we should be back now. Oh, I didn't notice that before. That's nice. Part of the livery. So yes, I think OBS got a bit camera shy. When we started talking about it, it just went poof, crashed on me. We should be back now. Yes, thank you. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the procedures. Now we have transcoding. Wow, blessing in disguise. The bad thing is that means I'll have to Oh, edit the video and put things together. Dang it. Lazy me is not happy. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Good. All right. So, oh, 1 second. Let me try if PDF is working. What it will look like. Yeah. It reset, didn't it? It didn't save. Okay, that's fine. Let's just change that back. Reset. And then put that somewhere here. There you go. That should be okay. Maybe this time it works. All right. Talking about emergency procedures, huh? Yikes. Okay. Let's see. So where do we start? That's a good question. Parking brake. Let's make sure that that's set. Looks good. Let's go ahead and check the circuit breakers. If everything that needs to be up is up. Just checking here. These two, they are normally down. So everything is okay there. Looks good. Everything is up. All these on the left. Okay, looks good. All right, perfect. Next up, we will be checking that the water injection pumps are off. A few
moments later.
Yes, that's the perfect one. And here we can start the battery. Start hearing that hum, that gentle hum. Very nice. Ground power goes on. Start the steady lights to on. No smoking. Seatbelt signs are on. Fuel pumps are off. Inverters, I think we can turn on the inverter now. All of them to the primary. Guys, remember our inverter discussion? I know this a bit more now. It makes more sense. Right, ignition's off and generators on. Let's make sure that I didn't miss anything. No smoking, seatbelt, booster pump, inverter, generator, ignition. Good. All right. So now I'm trying to base things off memory first and then check with the checklist if I missed anything, just to make it a bit faster. And normally that's how it goes anyway. Checklists are there to verify, but you normally have a flow first beforehand. Okay, that looks good. Let's go through here. Let's check that we have, all right, anti-ice fluid. Oil is a bit, it's not full, but it's still good. I like that actually. You can actually see that it's getting worn down. You can see the water levels are not full either, but that's fine. We won't be using it today. And then we can see that all the fuel tanks, both all the main and the alternate tanks are in the full. Pretty happy. Nice. Landing lights are off and retracted. Let's open all the cowl flaps. That gives our engines breathing room literally, so that they have more ventilation. Keeps them colder. You still do Q&A? Oh, you mean the videos on YouTube? I haven't done in a while, but yes, it's not stopped permanently. It's something that can continue. All right. Let me see. Right now, so let's put this at flight level 180. Can I hold down the shift button, make it faster? When my OBS crashed, it also crashed on your end. Oh, thank you for sharing the pain. Hey, Johnny. Welcome back, man. Thank you for the bits. Goodness, 1,000. I don't see that icon often. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you. All right, looking good there. So at flight level 180, the cabin altitude should be around 6,000, 7,000 feet. We'll see. We'll observe that later. Okay, looking good. Temperature control, put this to 70. That should have adjusted the cabin temps. Let's double check. Yeah, generators are off, so that means they have no voltage yet. That makes sense. What the bus has, because we have ground power. So this is currently the ground power voltage that we're checking. 28 volts is the normal range. Here we have, on the captain instruments, voltmeter is present in all because we have the inverters on. That makes sense. And because of our electrical studies last week, we have better idea on what this all means. All right, looking good. That's great. I hope I didn't miss anything. You will see later. Okay, that looks good. And let's go and check this guy right here. So let me check the weather at Eagle. Eagle is 3021 pressure, very high pressure. That's why very good weather. 3021 is somewhere there. Yes. And the airport elevation is 6,500, so that's not exact. So let's align it properly. Maybe 6547. So let's maybe align it this way. It's not exact, is it? Maybe something like that. Not really the one I'd want, but okay, that's fine. Let's stick there. 6,547 should be somewhere there. Hey Espen, doing good, man. Just starting things up. You joined just in time. What news? I only heard about the race. Not so excited about it, but I didn't really watch the video, so I might have missed a couple of things. I think you can put in climate, Scotsman. Try climate. Oh, but climate is in Singapore. Can you try climate Colorado? If that works. Not sure what Jay programmed in. Alright, let's get back in here with the startup. Altimeter, yes, looking good. Let's turn on our fuel tank. So this one is what we'll be tweaking later as we switch from main tanks to auxiliary tanks. We'll be switching that out. Alright, we have the propeller RPM, full forward. Throttles, a little bit forward, like so. We have, let's go to auto, number 2. Looks good, these are on. Looks good there. Okay. Did I miss anything? Fuel oil pressure warning switches. Those are the ones on the right that I last checked. Everything looks good. Crossfeed is off. Okay, looks good. Alright. And then the next one is this guy. Gyro pilot is off. Altitude control is off. The autopilot servos are off. Everything is in idle cutoff. Landing gear is down with 3 greens. Flaps are up with... yes, indicating that they are up. Nice. And then carb heat is all low. Aileron trim in the middle. Hydraulics are on. Okay, looking good there. And then we have pressure is 0 because we don't have any hydraulics yet. But what we can do is turn on the auxiliary hydraulics to check that that climbs to around 28231, around that point, I think. We all failed. It doesn't work. Okay, my bad. I should put more commands in there. Sorry. Fail. All right, but just trust me on this. 3021. 230 at 13 knots, gusting 18. Yes, something along those lines. Okay, so 31 brake pressure, all within expected levels as well. We can turn that off, and that should go back to 0. Looking good. All right, nice. So now we can do engine start. Okay, cool. But first, I'd want to open the windows so we get that nice sounds when starting the engine. It's a bit framey, my bad. But yeah, the DC-6 has not yet received the performance benefits from Sim Update 5, unfortunately. So still a bit laggy, but it's okay. Alright, let's see. Let me try and remember how this thing works. My cameras are working as such. So I have to switch to and from. Okay, good. So how does this work? We start with engine number 3. So we select engine number 3. That's what we're starting. And then we go from 3, 4, 2, 1. Okay, so engine 3 first. Make sure that there's fuel coming in. So fuel pressure is there. Looking good. And then, now that we have fuel pressure, we can start it. You need to push both the start and safety together. There.
3.
Engineer starts counting the blades as it spins. 9. Both boost prime. You hear it catching. Put in some fuel, and now we can hear it very well. Go to auto lean, auto rich. And then if we go outside, we should have engine 3 working properly. Spinning happily. There it is. Beautiful. Alright, so what we can do now is double check. We have fuel pressure, we have oil pressure, we have the RPM is a bit too high for my taste. Let's lower that. Should be below 1000. 1 second. Somewhere there maybe. Yeah. And the oil temperature, it's still a bit cold. Should be above 40 by the time we get taxiing. But that's okay. We're just starting off, right? So yes, it's good. Everything looks good. ASM Games. Thank you. I am from the Philippines originally, living in Singapore. How about you? Thank you for joining. The JU-52 looks really nice in 15 USD. Is that a new plane from Asobo? What kind of plane is it? Sorry, I'm pretty new to aviation. I don't know what that is. Click the temperature icon at the bottom start menu and look up at the airport zip code. Ah, I see, I see. From Hungary, wow, it's pretty late there then. Goodness, glad you made it. Thank you for joining. Right, engine 3 looks good. Engine 4, boost pump. We have fuel pressure, looking good. Right, start this off.
3.
It's a German tri-motor. Wow.
6.
Sounds fun.
9. 12.
Are you excited about the race feature? Right, auto lean, auto mix, auto rich, fuel pressure, oil temperature starting to climb, RPM still a bit low, but that will come back up, will rise as the engine warms up. Good. Engine 2, fuel pressure check. Yes, we do have it thanks to the boost pump. Start it off. Yes, I play ETS2 as well.
6. 9. 12.
Looking good. Sounding good. There it is. Double check. Fuel pressure, oil pressure, RPM. Good. Awesome. Yes, I do. Sim games. There you go. Thanks, Scotsman. You eat turkey. Good to know, Tom. Nice. Right. Engine 1. Fuel pressure is there. Good.
3. 6. 9.
Almost forgot what I should do. There it is. Alright. Double check. We do have oil pressure. That's the most important thing. So all engines are good. Starting to heat up. That's perfect. And if you look outside here. Yeah. Should be very nice. Good. Okay. So from here we can now turn off the engine selector. We can turn off the fuel pump. Let's double check that fuel pressure is still there. Yes. Looks good. Heating up. Everything good. All the engines are above 40 degrees now. They're oiled. Except engine 1. So let's let that heat up more. And while that's working, while that's happening, let's go ahead and start the radios. Yes. Have you watched any of my videos in YouTube before? Did you recognize me from there? There it is. Let's plug in the... So let's go and double check the... It's not the one. This guy. The departure. To 253 degrees. Meeker 3 departure. It's a bit loud, isn't it? We'll close the windows in a bit, guys. 109.2, but I think the important one for us is 113.0. Yes. And I'm saying point because we are in the US. So I have to use the US terminology. 113.0. And over here, Meeker is 115.2. I love how the needle moves like that. It's so nice. 115.2. Good. Alright, so that's programmed in. And now if we check, yes, everything is above 40, so we should be good as well. The racing can add some fun elements and can draw new people. Ah, yes, that's a good point. Close that off. Also this one. There we go. Looks like it will include some new planes. Written in brand new new net code for multiplayer. That's great to hear. I hope that will mean it's more optimized. Not the most exciting thing for me, but yes, if it brings in more people, then I guess better business, and we might get better support later on. I just hope it doesn't veer away too much from the simulator aspect, because that seems more headed into the gaming aspect, which is not bad. I just hope the sim aspect is not neglected. 322 degrees. Okay, so what do we do here? We turn left. Let's brief the departure again. We're departing from runway 25 at around 252 degrees runway heading. After we take off, we immediately turn to the left to 19 degrees. And then we'll continue that heading until we reach 326 radial on red table. Is red table being captured? Yes, it is. It's 12.2 miles away. And 326 degrees is somewhere here. So we can see the needle. This is red table. The outbound radial, the tail of this arrow, is pointing towards 345, looks like. So as we fly the departure, this tail will go more and more. And when it reaches 326, like over here, that means we are at this point already, 326. Yeah, when the tail is at 326. And that means we can start turning right towards the 322 radial of the same VOR. So this turn right here, I'll program. So I'll put in program. So I'll put in 322 here. 3332. Right? 322. There you go. That's 322. So that's what we'll be doing later on. The Flyers, the Fabio Flyers, the friends of Fabio here in chat. Now online mod. What do you mean, Sim Games? For ETS2? You mean Truckers MP? Something to fix generic models too. Oh yeah, that would be amazing for multiplayer. Yes, that is true. Okay, so where are we off now? Engine start is good. Transponder, yes, we haven't set that yet. Don't really need to. We're not really working with ATC, but let's just put it to alt, I guess, at least. Course is set. Yes, we're good there. Now we can go taxi. So what I can do is remove the gust lock so that I have my controls unlocked. Let's check if they're working. Yes, they are. Rudders as well. Brakes looking good. Alright. So let's release the parking brake and let's start taxiing runway 25. Okay, let's see. Let's use this one. And let's go and see if we can read the taxiways from here. We've been watching you on YouTube for many years. Really? Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. It's an honor, man. Ah, about this one. VATSIM or Aliveo. Right. I'm not using it at the moment. We do fly in VATSIM sometimes. I'm a bit scared about it because I'm an introvert and I'm scared. But yes, we do fly it sometimes and it's a blast. But for today's flight, we are dealing with experiments, which I think will not be friendly towards other players, other simmers flying. Alpha 4, I love how readable the taxiway signs are with this mod and how believable they look. So runway 25 is over there all on the right. Oi, what happened? Okay, you guys see? That was interesting. That was interesting. Oh, 1 second. I forgot to turn off the... remove the GPU, I think. Is that okay? Or did that actually hurt me? Oh, yeah. That might be bad, guys. That might be bad. Over here, I forgot something. Plain battery. That might work better now. I hope. Let's hope that everything is still working. This is why you should go through a checklist properly instead of just breezing past it. Why is it not moving? There it is. Maybe a bit uphill. Okay, looking good. All flaps are open, so the engines are breathing properly. Temperature CHT is good. Avoiding the harmonization range, which is 1250 to 1600 RPM. So going below or above that. Looking good. Let's go flaps 20. That's 10. That's 15. That's 20. You can see the flaps here moving. Checklist was eaten by Pratt and Whitney. I know, right? Yeah, that's the problem with these checklists. I often just breeze through them. Even if I'm staring at them, I'm still missing a lot of stuff. Alpha 3 is there on the left. That's okay, we'll just taxi to the end of the runway. Okay, gust lock, disengage, fuel boost pump. Ah, yes. Let's put the fuel boost pump to low. I think it's required when you're departing from high altitudes in certain temperature conditions. Alright. Mixture is auto rich. Yes, nav lights will turn that to flashing for strobes when we get onto the runway. And then we'll switch the inverters. Transponder is out. Landing lights, yes, can extend as well. Yes. Let's have a look here. 326, right? Okay, 326. Alpha 1 is where we'll be turning left. We'll need all the runway we can get, guys. So yes, let's do that. We play Iveo. But FSX, I see. GPU, yes, ground power unit. Alright, here we go. There's a line here, which I'm not sure what it means. I'm sure we could refer to a certain FAA document, but let's hold short there at 2.5 and I'll prepare everything else. Okay, looking good. Alright, let's see. Let's make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Alright, let's hold short there at the right before the 2.5. Whoosh. Have a good night, Sim Games. Yes, 2:58. My goodness, good night. Thank you for dropping by. Appreciate the company. Catch you again next time, man. There it is. Alpha 1. Exactly as the chart publishes. Nice. Alright, flaps are 20. Everything looks good. Alright, so let's do that. Those steps that we didn't do a while ago. Let's turn on the parking brake for now. Go to this camera so we can put in the strobes, flashing lights, right? The inverters will go in the co-pilot and engine instruments. It will use the secondary or the second inverter. Pilot side will be using the primary inverter or whatever it's called. Looks good there. We don't need water injection with our takeoff weight. What I do need is to turn on the auto feathering system. Just in case an engine fails, it will automatically feather that. And let's turn on the pitot heat, right? And let's make sure that I don't forget to turn on the cooling turbine and turn on the landing lights. So let's extend that. 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000. Turn on the landing lights. Let's go to 4 degrees for takeoff. Good. It's a bit hot today. I hope it won't be bad. Social distancing for a plane. That's true. It's a good way of putting it. Thanks, Sim Games. Right, is the runway clear? Let's remove the parking brake. Release the parking brake so we can move. Okay, so how does this go, guys? We have our usual steps here, right? So we go 30 inches. We line up. We go 30 inches with the brakes held. If it's stable, if the temperatures are stable and everything is looking fine, then we will continue pushing towards the dry takeoff power, which is around 53 inches of manifold pressure. And then we'll, after takeoff, rotation is 100 knots. We'll immediately go to METO power. We'll pull back, which is at, I have to always remind myself because I forget. So dry takeoff is 53 inches in the manifold pressure. That's the red line here. After we take off, we go to METO power, which is 46 inches of manifold pressure and 2600 RPM. And then one climb with 40 inches at 2400 RPM. So we step by step lessen the manifold pressure and the RPM. Okay, that makes sense. Are we good? Let's see. Let's do some checks. Engine temperature looks good. Temperatures, other oil pressure, everything looks fine, I think. Oil pressure is a bit low there, but that might just be because of my RPM, because I have idle throttle set. Okay, looks good. 30 inches. Do I still do Q&A? Yes, just not at the moment. But if you have questions, feel free to post it there. I'll get to them eventually. Stable. CHT is heating up. 53 inches. Alright, let's get moving. Engines are heating up. Please don't fail me now. Guys, remember, after we take off, we turn left immediately to 219er to avoid that mountain in front of us. Oh my goodness. The engines are so hot. Airspeed's alive. It does look like we will be consuming 7,000 foot runway. 100 knots, there it is. V1, rotate. Very, very gently. Positive rate. Gear up. It is going up. Turn left. 219er. Bit more gentle. Going to METO power. 46 inches. 9600 RPM. Moving flaps up. Man, 219er. Actually wasn't following it. 1 second, 1 second. I went a bit visual there. I want to pitch up because of the mountains, but I also have to continue speeding up to 165 knots. It's a bit hard. That's it, guys. I'll get back to you in a bit. 326 radial, not there yet. When we are there, we will switch. We will turn right. Right, pulling back 40 inches. 2400. Looking good. My goodness. We have some minimum climb gradients here because it doesn't seem like I'll make it. Oh my goodness. Hey PDX, glad you made it. Hey, thank you for resubbing. 11 months total. 3-month streak. Amazing stuff, man. Thank you. Phew, that is close. How are we doing? Flaps are up. Gears are up. We are climbing the best way we can. 219er. 326. I think that's close enough. Alright, so let's start turning right. Man, that is beautiful though, isn't it? That is beautiful. Looking good. Still hand flying, guys, because I'm too paranoid. Letting the autopilot handle this. 165 knots, looking good. There we go. Just continue climbing. Yeah, you can see why the departure is this way, because it actually sneaks you in through those like valleys in the mountains. It's quite nice. Makes sense now. Right. So we'll turn to the right a bit until we intercept the radial that we set, 332. Use engine brake and go down the mountain. There you go. It's looking good. Alright. I think that's stable enough. Let's go and turn on autopilot. Gyro pilot on. Autopilot servo on. Looking good. Let's go and follow that localizer. Why are we descending? No, don't descend. Pitch up. 165 knots is where we want you. The important thing is that the cylinder heads are cooled, so we're not risking engine failure at this point, I think. There we go. Now we're climbing. We're not headed to any airport, Tom. Yes, it's interesting. We don't have a destination in mind because we are doing some experiments on the air, and then we'll see how far we get. And wherever we get to, we'll just look for the nearest airport. Pushing forward the throttle 40 inches. There's the gyro pilot following the course that we set, the 322, I believe. 1 second, where is it? 322 radial. Very nice. Looking good. So yes, looks like the calculations are working. Even if I didn't follow the procedures to the letter, still looks great. Let's go outside, guys. It's going to get a bit noisy, okay? Going to get a bit noisy, but it will be worth it for the views, okay? 1 second. Here we go. Woo! There it is. All those mountains. Where's Eagle? Eagle is right there at the back. Passing through it now. Beautiful weather. That work? There it is. Nice. Right, 165 knots. What's the next on the departure? So let me show you the departure. Meeker 3 departure. So this was us, right? We turned left to 19 degrees. After we passed this radial, we turned right. So you can see we kind of went back away and then turned left again. So we're here on this leg now. We'll continue this leg until we're at 25 DME. You can see there, 25 miles away and then we'll turn left. So right now, oh crap, that looks pretty low. That left outboard prop looks like it has a problem. Oh crap, really? Where? Point it to me. One second. Alright, let's turn off the landing lights. Retract it. 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000. Look at this one. We are actually not going to meet our altitude, guys, our requirement. How does it work in that case? 15,000. And we're currently only at 12,000. So I think what I'll do is let's do a little bit of a circuit here. Maybe just do a 360. Let's see if that works. Yeah, you can imagine why its flight level, although it's 15,000 over here. We're too low at the moment. Filled with mountains, right? Yeah, makes a lot of sense. 40 inches. And we're on gyro pilot right now, so we can actually switch to the next VOR, 105.2. There we go. And the course going there would be this guy, 277 degrees. So let's plug that in here, 277. Alright. Yeah, that looks good. Can we get back? Can we? In the zero-G experience, close enough? Yes, we just might. We just might. Goodness. We're not climbing fast enough. I wanted to check. I probably missed something here in the chart. There's probably a minimum takeoff obstacle notes. Requires takeoff minimums. There must be like some kind of or is it this one? Yeah, I think they climb gradient. We're at around 150 knots, so we should be climbing at around 2,000 feet per minute, and we're not doing that. So we actually should not have been allowed this departure. That's a miss on my end, but that's okay for science, right? Crap. Okay, let's go ahead and center that in. Follow that course that we set. That should be okay. We're above mountains anyway. Let's just go outside again and have a bit of a look. Oh yes, beautiful. I love the reflection of the sun on the propeller. Very nice. It's so good, I know, right? Right. So we continue pushing the throttles forward to 40 inches because as we climb, that will get more and more. That will get less and less, the manifold pressure, so we have to continue pushing forward more and more. And at some point, we will be max throttle, but the manifold pressure will not reach 40. And that's when we'll have to switch to the high blower over here. This guy. Engine supercharger. That's when we'll have to do that. Okay, looking good. 36 miles from the VOR. That's okay. Alright, so let's do the after takeoff checks, the climb checks. Let me see how much I missed. Landing lights are off and retracted, that's true. Cowl flaps, put that to climb, so over here. Give it more breathing room. Fuel boost pumps can go off. Auto feather can go off. Seatbelts can go off. Beacons, I always forget to turn that on in this plane specifically. Okay, windshield heat. Outside air temperature is 0 degrees now. So that means our windshield heat should be somewhere here. And cabin altitude and pressure. You can see that the cabin altitude is rising. Yeah, we have cabin pressure, differential pressure, outside versus inside the cabin. That's rising as expected. All good. Looking good. Alright, and now that we have taken off, we can actually put this on the primary inverter again. Nice. So we keep pushing forward here. 40 inches. Oh, this is the perfect sample, guys. I'm full throttle, but we are not reaching 40. Okay, so it's the perfect time to switch to the high blower. But how do we do that? That's a good question. Let's consult the manual. Maybe not. Now is not the best time to be to be studying this one. 1 second. I think it's simple enough. There's just a few watchouts. Because I think we'll have to pull back the power before we turn to high blower, because I think there will be a certain manifold pressure increase, like 12 inches maybe, something like that if I remember correctly. You guys should see where it is. Flight controls should be airplane systems, fuel, engine driven fuel pumps. Bring it back to 30 and then the switch. 2-speed blower. Yeah. Okay, so bring it back to 30. I think I'd put it back to 28 and then I will try it out. Okay, let's try that. I wish I could have a reference here. 1 second. Just so we're sure. Autopilot, instrument systems, DC power, voltage regulator, inverters. Well, it takes too long. Winging it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, way low. So if I pull back the pressure or the throttles to 28 inches, like so, right? And then I go to the high blower. Let's go and check 2 first. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Goes to 40, right? So, okay, at least I remembered correct. The 12 inches difference. So now all of them are back to 40 inches. And that increases the BMEP tremendously. Perfect. Good. Alright, that works. And we're close to flight level 180. So that's also something that we will do. We will be leveling off soon enough. Right, let's get ourselves stable here and then we'll see how it goes. Looking good. So where are we now? We should be somewhere. So this is Meeker. This is the VOR we're headed to. We came from red table here on a 3-2 something radial, so we should be somewhere here. Yeah, somewhere here where my mouse is, more or less. But once we get to Meeker, we don't really have a destination, so I guess we'll just go the same direction we're headed. Yeah, just track Meeker and see. Oh, that's 18,000 already. So fast, so fast. That's okay. Let's switch to standard altimeter 29902. You know what? I'll just press B. That work? Yeah, I think that's the B key working. Good. So that works perfectly with this plane. And let's go back to 180 and then we can turn on altitude control. What I have to remember is to go to low blower later when we descend. But that's a problem for later. Right, flight level 180. Set the altitude control, take care of that. There we go, 180 more or less. Alright, so EDF time. So we wanted this guy, 1200 horsepower. Flight level 180 is here, 2260 RPM, 150 BMEP. Okay, okay. So let's go with that. So 150 BMEP. So that means I need to pull back on the power. Maybe something like that. And then I have to pull back on the RPM. As I pull back on the RPM, we will actually increase the BMEP. So go there to 2260. There. Something like that. And that's actually 150 BMEP already. Wow, that's perfect. Is that right? So if we look at the PDF, it says, let me mark it here. That doesn't get marked properly. 150 BMEP, 623 pounds per hour. Oh, but we have to go to auto lean. Oh crap, yes, that's what I forgot. Alright, let's go and do those checks first. I think that's the only thing we need to do anyway. Before we tinker with any of this stuff, I should have gone to auto lean for all of the engines here, because that actually changes the fuel consumption and the power. Look at that. So now we're below 150 BMEP, so we have to push it forward to 150. There you go. So that's going to be our power setting. And if you look at the fuel flow, oh, that's perfect. Oh, I had the PDF there, didn't I? My bad. Should be 623 pounds per hour. And that's exactly what we're getting here, 600 plus pounds per hour. We're currently at a, what's our weight? Our weight should be somewhere in between here, 87,582.5. So we should be getting 201 indicated airspeed and 271 true airspeed. Okay, let's have a look if that's the thing. Well, not yet, because we're still we just finished climbing. The VOR is passing us soon, so let's get back into gyro pilot mode. And we'll just fly level like this. Nice. Good. Okay, so far so good. Let's do those checks. Cylinder head, temperature. Oh yeah, I'm forgetting something. Cowl flaps, we can close those now. They don't need additional air. It's cold enough here, up. We can also turn off the hydraulic system to make sure we don't extend our flaps accidentally. Let's double check our cabin altitude. As expected, it's now at 6,000 plus, going to 7,000, right? As this one is saying. This one is now reflecting. And then we're good. Okay, so we are now officially on cruise. Perfect. And with that, that means we can now study how to switch to the alternate fuel tanks. This guy, fuel tanks. So you have a main, alternate, or auxiliary. Equipped with an electrically driven centrifugal fuel booster pump. Oh my goodness. How's the sound, guys? Is it too loud? Let me know if you want me to lower it, okay? Let's try it. If I lower it a bit, around that, is that okay? Or is it too soft? I'll keep it there for now. And then you guys let me know if you want to adjust. Okay, so Fuel tanks. Each tank, main, alternate, or auxiliary, equipped with an electrically driven centrifugal fuel booster pump, a sump drain, I don't know these parts, capacitor type, quantity indicating units. Okay. The 4 main wing tanks, that's showing on my screen, right? Okay, good. And the outboard alternate tanks are integrally built into the wing center and outer structures. Okay. Tank to system. I won't read through all of those. There are emergency shut-off valves as well. What I am particularly interested in... Oh, this is the one that I wanted. When do you use the fuel booster pumps? Be operated in low under the following conditions. When engine start? Yes, that's what he did. For takeoff at any time, the ground temperature is above 75 degrees Fahrenheit. How is that in centigrade, guys? In Celsius? That's around 20 something degrees Celsius, I think. For takeoffs above 2,500 feet. So, engine start, check. Takeoff above 75 degrees Fahrenheit, check. Because we were around 20 plus a while ago. Takeoff above 2,500 feet, check. We were taking off at 6,500. During climb, after reaching 10,000 feet. Oh. After reaching 10,000? Oh, okay, so I should have kept them to low. I shouldn't have turned them off. Did I? Okay. But we're cruising now, so good. When selecting a new fuel supply. Okay, we'll need that. For 1.5 hours on selected fuel tanks after reaching cruise altitude. And at any time that the fuel pressure drops below 22 psi or fluctuates. What is it at the moment? Okay, it's above 22 psi, so it's okay. Okay. It's 24 degrees. Okay, thanks, Alex. Cool. Always shut booster pumps off one at a time and watch to make certain pressure can be maintained by the engine-driven pumps. Okay, makes sense. Good. Fuel tank selector valves and controls. Cross-feed valves and controls. Oh, this one, I think. Various tank-to-engine combinations of fuel feeding may be obtained by the proper positioning of selector and cross-feed valves. Okay. Prior to takeoff, check for unobstructed fuel flow by operating each engine on both its main and alternate tanks. Prior to takeoff. Whoops. Okay. For normal operation, takeoff is made with fuel flow from the main tanks to the respective engines. Okay, that's what we did. When a switch is made from one tank to another, turn the fuel booster pump for the new source to low. Okay, so that means if we're going from main to alt, the alt should be on low to ensure proper fuel flow of fuel to the engine. Then turn on the new source. Oh, 1 second. Then turn on the new source before shutting off the old. So boost pump of the new source to low. Okay. Then turn on the new source. Alright, so so we turn the boost pump to low on the alternate tank, and then we switch from main to alternate, right? We switch the tanks being used. And then if a tank is run dry, close the throttle before selecting the new source to prevent propeller overspeeding. Interesting. After normal fuel pressure has been established, the booster pumps may be turned off. Okay. Alright, that makes sense so far. Okay, no difficulty should be encountered in management of the fuel system. The PDF is closed, isn't it? My bad. I'm not good at this. You know what? Let's do it this way. If it's not too urgent, I'll just put it here so we're seeing one-to-one. Because the mixture could go lean. So the propeller may overspeed. So when the fuel runs out, the mixture will be lean. And because of that, the propeller may overspeed. Why is that? When it's getting a lean mixture, shouldn't it be getting less power? Shouldn't that mean that the RPM wouldn't be too high? At least the engine RPM? I would have thought it was opposite. I'm missing something. Alright, let's see. If an emergency condition exists that requires fuel to be drawn from the tanks, 8 tank fuel system management. Okay, we need this one. There will be a brief time of engine RPM climbing when the fuel is cut off and goes lean. Ah, it's like a spike. Ah, makes sense. Interesting. That's something to read up on next. Alright, let's have a look. When the flight was started with fuel, okay. Auxiliary tanks are not installed, okay. The procedure of direct fuel feeding follows the same sequence as that shown in figure 18. When the flight was started with a full fuel load, 79 gallons of fuel will be left in the inboard main tanks after the other tanks are run down. These 79 gallons are sufficient for 20 to 30 minutes of flight at cruise power, okay. Alright. Oh, this is the one. Okay, how do you read that? 1 second, let's have a look. Okay. Okay, so this is where we started, right? On the ground. And then we are climbing. And we have the main tanks. But as we cruise, we'll switch to the alternate tanks. And then we'll switch to the main tanks again. So let's see. Condition. This first bar here, so we split this into 4 segments, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have ground, takeoff, and climb, main tanks to respective engines. Straightforward. This is what we've done. Yes? Now we are in this phase. We are in cruise. Switch tanks at top of climb or when 450 pounds is burned from each main tank. Not sure if we're really following that, but maybe we don't need to. Okay, let's see. This one will need alternate on in the fuel selector. So this tank selector here is this guy right here. Right? These ones. So if we look, that one is saying main tank. And this middle notch is the alternate tank. So we switch there. But before we do that, we'll have to turn on some boost pumps and whatnot. And I want to read up more on that, make sure we're doing it the right way. And then we don't have any crossfeed. But then later on, we're switching from number 2 alt to number 1 and 2 engines, number 3 alt. Okay, so I think it's because the tanks on the second and third alternate tanks are bigger than the first and the fourth. Let's double check if that's true. Yeah, if you look here, the capacity of number 2 and number 3, we have 4,500 pounds, right? But the number 1 and number 4 only have 3,500. So if we are initially consuming them all at the same rate here, because we have alternate on consuming from all 4 alternate tanks, then at some point the first and the fourth tanks will run out and we'll have to use the second and third. Alright, so in that, I guess that was what this means, why we have to switch to that, the cross feed. Yeah, makes sense. So that means engine 2 will be feeding, or alternate tank 2 will be feeding both engines 1 and 2, and then alternate tank 3 will be feeding both engines 3 and 4. Okay, and then during descent we switch back to the main tanks. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense so far. Alright, with this one, transmitter, oil system, I don't think there is any other advice for it, is there? So it's basically just switching the fuel tanks to fuel boost pumps to low, where we are transferring the fuel to, and then just switching it. I think it's as simple as that. You guys agree? Based on what we've read. 1 second, let's double check. 43 miles on this VOR. I want to make sure that we're jumping somewhere, so we always have a VOR being tracked, just in case we need to land and navigate. We have an idea. So let me see. This is Meeker. We are 45 miles. What's the outbound course? The radial. 280 radial, more or less. So 44 miles, 280 radial is here. measure that. 280 radial is somewhere here, right? And 45 miles is somewhere here. Okay, so we are somewhere on this part. And if you turn on the cheat, that's exactly where we are. Yes, okay, that works. So we're somewhere there. So let's look for a VOR that's high. This one is L, that's low, that's low range. This one we can work. 112.7 is Myton. Okay, you can work with that. 112.7. Over here. Let's see if that's being detected. Yes, it is. Okay, looking good. Just so we can track it. It's nice. Do we need anything else? Maybe one more for safety. How about this one? I want a high VOR. Salt Lake City. 116.8. That might work. 116.8. Actually 0.8. Right? We're not yet detecting it. Okay, it's too far. Good. Alright, so let's see. I guess that works. That should work. Let's try it one at a time. How do we do this? Okay, here. So let's try it first with engine 1. So I'll put the alternate boost pump to low for engine 1. Like so. Right? And then let's double check. How do you check the fuel pressure of the alternate? I don't think there's a way. It's not here in the main instruments. Fuel pressure. I don't think you can see it, can you? Yeah, okay, fine. So that's in low now. Is it as simple as switching this one to alternate like so? So far so good. No funny sounds. Okay, so I think that's good. And then we turn this to off. And we're good there. Okay, so let's do the same for the other ones. And let's switch to the alternate tanks. Just like switching tanks in the Piper Arrow, isn't it? Just a bigger version. And then looks good. No sputtering. Looking good. Alright. I think we're safe, guys. So far so good. So we should be using the alternate fuel tanks now. So let's observe if these go down at 4,500. We'll see if that goes down later. That should be clear enough later. Okay, good. Nice. Alright, so we've done the basic stuff. We don't normally do these, right? Because we don't fly as high, we don't really fly as long. So we don't really use the high blowers, we don't use the alternate fuel tanks. So it's nice to see these. But how does it work now? Filling tanks with a can. I think I saw him from the wing somewhere. Let's have a look outside. Let's have a look outside. Oh my goodness, that's a beauty. Yeah. That's a nice view. It does seem like the propeller isn't perfectly symmetrical. Is it? Like it's kind of offset. Is that what we were mentioning a while ago, Alex? Must be the paint job. Such beautiful weather. Wouldn't use that fan in IBC. Feels like it will fly off any moment. Is that our fault? Hopefully not. Very nice livery though. The detail. Definitely feels like we're in Utah, huh? Beautiful. My goodness, the satellite images, even from flight level 180, looks amazing. Oh wow. Those blades, I know, right? Beautiful. Okay. Let's take a shot like so, with a very dramatic shot. Add a bit of tilt for higher FPS. Let's go with that. Alright. Looks good so far. Let's do some checks. Cylinder head temperature looking good. Free air, we are at -8 now. I should actually align the windshield heat that way, like so. Looking good. All temperature not bad. Below the yellow range, that should be okay. Oil pressure is there, fuel pressure is there, and we should be consuming from the alternate tanks now, if I'm reading this correctly. Actually, we can verify that cheatily over here. If we look, yeah, you can see it. Which tanks are getting consumed, right? Alternate 1, this bottom row, you can see the numbers changing at 3430, 4527. Yeah, 343. Yeah, it's the alternate tanks that are being consumed now. Okay, good. Great, that's working. Let's see engine stress visualizer. Looking good. It does seem like we are boosting a bit too much on engines 3 and 4. Interesting. Engine health. Why is that question mark? Am I going to have an engine failure soon enough? 1 second. Let's double check that. Overboost, excessive BMEP or MP. It might be I'm a bit too high there. Yeah, let's pull it back. Stay maybe a bit below 150, like so, just to be on the safe side. Alright, let's see if that's going to be better. Yeah, I think that's better. I think it doesn't want going beyond 150. Because if we looked at the chart, right? The chart we were showing a while ago, it showed that 150 BMEP was the maximum on that performance chart. It was the highest horsepower setting. So it was the 1200 torque meter horsepower, and 150 BMEP was what you got there. So if you pushed it more, that means you're getting higher horsepower, I guess. And that's not part of this list anymore. Yeah, 1240 can only go up to 14,000 safely. Like, compare it here. If we want 1100 torque meter horsepower, then BMEP will be down to 147 actually. Yeah, so a bit more economical. Cool. Okay, it's nice. Right, so everything looks good. Fuel manager, all right, looking good there. Nice. Let's double check. We have both VORs in range. Yes, we do. That's the Salt Lake VOR, 110 miles. 110 miles rather. Okay, looks good. So, shall we start with emergency procedures? I'm a bit scared. We've done the basic stuff. Let's start this experimentation in earnest and see if we can survive. You know what? Actually, it might be helpful if we look at the manual and have a look if there's like a 3-engine chart. Because I can imagine if you have 3 engines only, you'll be a bit more limited in power, in altitude, things like that. So let's double check if there's a specific, yeah, as you see here, 4 engines operating. I wonder if there's a chart specifically for 3 engines operating. Let's see. I have my doubts, but just in case. Yeah, I don't think so. It doesn't seem like it. This is Clumsy. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, huh? Okay. Man, I love that hum. That gentle hum. I think I like this volume the best. Bit toned down. Let's see. Is there like a limit? Altitude limits? Is there such a thing? Extreme weather operation? No, that's not really us. That's scary having this red highlight. That drone is putting you to sleep. I know, right? Now that's how an engine should sound like. No wonder Alan is always sleeping in front of the dash of the truck. Okay. Let's see. All emergency operating instructions and troubleshooting procedures have been assembled in this section for ready reference. The operator should become thoroughly familiar with these instructions before his flight in the DC-6 airplane. In those emergency procedures, which have been grouped into phases, the individual operations, where more than one occur within each phase, may be arranged in the order that suits the operator. All operations in Phase 1, however, must be accomplished prior to any operation in Phase 2. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so as long as it's in the same phase, you can switch the sequence. Okay, so like here in Phase 2, it doesn't have to be one after the other. It can be jumbled. Like ignition first before generator, as long as you do all of those in the same phase before you switch to the next phase. Okay. Alright. Okay, makes sense. So this is quite interesting, and I want this to be, if we're ever going to do just one emergency procedure, I want to do this one. Because I think after we do this, we might have 3 engines or less working if we don't do this right. So let's see how that works. So there is a propeller feathering procedure, and I believe you only do this when you have an engine failure. Because when you have an engine failure and you don't do anything, and I think if you guys watch Fabio, for the friends of Fabio here, he actually had this incident. One of his engines failed, or was it more than one? Actually, I think all his engines failed, and he didn't feather them. When you don't feather a propeller, feathering basically means you're making your, so the propeller has certain angles, right? You can change the angle, that's what determines RPM. Change the angle at which it cuts the air. So it either cuts the air, it takes in a big bite, or it just passes through. When you're feathering a propeller, you're basically aligning it, I think, perpendicular, is it? To the wind. So it is as minimal resistance as possible, as minimal drag as possible. Like if the wind is going this way, and if you have a surface like that, right? So you have the most resistance. But if you change the pitch of the propeller so that it does that, so the resistance is minimum. And I think, if I remember correctly, feathering is doing that, making it as minimal as possible, the surface area. Because when your engine is not running, then it's just going to be in the way, just going to cause you a bit of drag. So you want to reduce and minimize the drag, so you have to feather it, I think. 3-engine Oscar pattern, let's go. No thank you. Oh my goodness, the Oscar pattern is intense enough. You're tired all of a sudden with it, because of the humming or because of the manual reading. Alright, so Alright guys, which engine should be the casualty? Maybe let's start there. Which engine should we experiment on? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which is the unlucky engine that will draw the short straw? And while you guys are chiming in on that, let's see where we are. Let's have a look here. 36 miles from... what was it? 36 miles from 112.7. Forgot what that was, but we are on a 3, 4, 5 radial ish. 112.7 is, I think, this one. Yes, 3, 4, 5 radial is this one. So something here, maybe. Oh crap. And the distance is around what? 36? So we are somewhere here, near King's Peak. You guys know this, King's Peak. It's like lots of mountains below us. Not the best time to fail an engine. Looks fun enough. Lots of mountains indeed. 3, 4. Alright. Hey, Gab Cheeseburger. Yes, Clumsy from YouTube. Exactly. Thanks for joining, man. Glad you found me on Twitch as well. Engine 3. Okay, let's go for engine 3. Close enough. Alright, let's see. So how do we fail the engine? I don't want to break it, because one way of failing it is probably overheating it, right? Until it fails, but I want to recover it eventually. So I'll just turn it off. How do we turn it off? I guess what we can just do is cut off the mixture, right? That's what we do in a normal GA plane. Cutting the fuel, exactly. Okay, so we can do that by switching off the fuel tanks or setting the mixture to cut off, idle cutoff. I think I'd like the idle cutoff option. That seems the most sensible. So let's do that. And what I'd like to do, I read this in the manual somewhere. One second. I can't probably track it anymore. But speaking of electrical stuff, so we have the DC voltmeter here, right? So from last week we discovered that each of the 4 engine generators are producing DC power. So that's why they have the DC voltmeter here. And if we look at all of these, all 4 engines are working. And they have 28 volts. And the amps are I think this is representative of each of the engine generators, right? The amps, how much flow is passing through them. So when we fail engine 3, when we cut off engine 3, that means generator number 3 should have a 0 volt meter, right? Because it does not generate anything anymore. That should be 0, I think. And the amp meter for 3 should go to 0 as well. And in addition, the amps for 1, 2, and 4 should increase. That's what I want to see. So let's see how that works. How do you read this, guys? How do you read this? I still don't know how to read this. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top and negative 50 to 500, positive 500 below. I would think, why would you have a negative amps when it's flowing the other way? That doesn't sound good. I don't know. But okay, so I'm expecting generator 3 to be 0 amps, and then these guys, right now we're at 1 notch above 0, right? This is 0. We're 1 notch above that. Okay, that makes sense. Increments of 100, eh, Rook? So these guys are... So it's like 0, 100 amps, 200 amps. Ah, 1 second, I see what you mean. So 50, 100, 150, 200, 300, 400. Ah, yes, that's the simplest answer, actually. So these are not contradictory. They're not different units, they're just different ways of representing the numbers. So it's still negative 50 to positive 500, but yes, this is 0, 100, 200, 300, 400. And that's 500. Perfect. Makes perfect sense. Good catch, Rook. This engine is producing 25 amps. Okay, perfect. Now we can read it. That's crowdsourcing. Amazing. Alright, so let's cut off the engine and see what happens. I'm scared. I'm not even sure if we can maintain flight level 180. We're at around, how do you read that? 160, 70, 80, 95, 195 indicated. That will probably go slower, but I hope not too much. So let's see. Okay, so let's do this. So I just cut off engine 3, right? Like so. Here goes nothing. Alright. We have a light, a problem. If we look at the engine instruments, we see that fuel flow has increased for engine 3. That doesn't seem to make sense. RPM is also high. But yeah, the manifold pressure goes down. Interesting. Okay. And yes, we don't have oil pressure on engine 3 anymore. That is pretty much as expected, is it? We're slowing down as well. We've slowed down how much? 10, 15, going 20 knots. I hope not too much, otherwise we'll have to descend. So the autopilot's trying to maintain our altitude, but we don't have enough power, so we're slowing down. Right? And this is where I want the feathering to help. Because if we feather that, then that might actually make sense. Let's have a look. So it's still spinning. It doesn't look like anything has changed. Okay. And that's probably because that's why we see the RPM is still here, because the propeller, the governor, is probably doing it that way. It needs to be feathered, right? It does seem like it. I'm not sure if the prop governor is actually changing that. So let's see here first. So if we look here, if I can zoom. Yeah? Generator 3 does not produce any power anymore, so the voltage is 0. So that's accurately modeled. And if we look at the look at this. So 0 amps on generator 3, and for the others it's a bit increased, like 26 or 27 now. Not such big a jump, but there was a jump. Yeah. It's being spun. Yeah, 160 knots. Alright, so let's see. We're at 160 knots. How do we feather this? Let's follow the procedures. This is when the PDF will come into play, because I'll have to turn this on and off. Guys, remind me, okay, if it doesn't, if I forget to show it or hide it properly. So I'm showing it right now. So we have to set propeller master control to manual. That's the first thing, because right now it's still spinning, right? That's why we see the RPM in there is still 2400, although it's having a hard time. So we're setting the propeller control to manual in here. Right, there you go. And then propeller selector control, feather. Push in the feathering button. Push in the feathering button. So what I did was this one. The propeller from auto number 2 to that manual. And the next one is propeller selector control is feather. Push in feathering button on the forward overhead panel. Okay, I know where that is. So we'll switch. Let's check first. We're down to 140 knots. That's not a good sign. Let's go ahead and this one. So the feather here, we push it. There we go. So that's being feathered now, supposedly. I hear something changing. You can see the RPM going lower, right? The RPM went low. There we go. Now the propeller governor is not spinning it anymore. And now you can see the manifold pressure increased on engine 3, because now there's no vacuum anymore. So this is actually the atmospheric pressure, I'm guessing. Right? 15 inches, maybe. Is that right? Maybe, I don't know. Something like that. Are we still speeding up? Are we still slowing down, rather? We might stall here, guys. I hope not. There we go. There we go. Right? Beautiful. Hey Luki, thank you for following. My goodness, that looks scary. Okay, are we losing? What's our stall speed, guys? Maybe we'll have to check that. VS1, is there such a thing here? 0 degrees flap. VS0 maybe. At around 85,000 feet is around 100 knots. Okay, if we go below 100 knots, that might be the stall speed. We might have to actually go lower here. Alright, let's see. We do have more things to check. Mixture is idle cutoff. Yes, that's what we did actually to cut off the engine. Fire extinguisher selector valve full out. This closes the firewall shutoff valves and the handle should not be pulled until... I don't get this. Why would we need to do that? Okay, let's follow it. So we full out, right? This where is that one? This guy. Fire extinguisher selector valve handle. This guy? Is it? That one? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Do you see it? I think you see it, right? On the screen. Okay, good. And then cowl flaps, we close. Gear and wing flaps, yes, those are off. Fuel booster pump is off as well for this guy. Yes, yes. Generator, turn that off. Ignition, turn off. Fuel tank selector valve, let's turn off. I hope I switched the right one. Yes, there you go. And then crossfeed valves is off. Okay. And that's good. We've feathered the engine already. Now, I didn't see any reference with the throttle if we needed to pull the throttle to idle or anything. But maybe that's not a good thing. Or maybe that's not necessary. Rotation isn't the only requirement for power generation. That's true. Ah, yeah, that's true. Even if it is spinning, it's not necessarily automatically producing power. Can you not run higher prop RPM or something on the other three to compensate who needs fuel? Well, I guess that's a good question. I'm not sure. Because in our case, we're really cutting off the flow of the fuel, right? So the CHT is actually, yeah, all there, 0. Because if it's a fuel problem, then you should be able to do some kind of cross feed to feed the engine. So I guess that's possible. If it's a problem with the fuel tanks, for example, then we can use other fuel tanks. That might be. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. BMEP is 0. Well, what is this? 60? Oh, okay. Never 0. For the engine number 3 and for the others, it's working fine. Okay, looking good. We have no oil pressure. We have no fuel pressure on that engine. That's why we have this lit. We're really going down here, 120 knots. Okay, that's fine. Now, do we try to recover it? Looks like I'm also losing altitude now. Should we try recovering it? Let's see. So booster pump is low. Generator switch is on. Ignition switch is both. So I'll do this as I read you through it. Turn off the PDF so you can see what I'm doing. Generator on. Ignition switch to both. Right. Boost pump to low. We're using the alternate tank right now, right? Cowl flaps as desired to maintain adequate temperature. Okay, we don't need that. Fuel extinguisher, let's push that full forward. Fuel tank selector valve. Okay, so here we go. Let's put that back to alt. Crossfeed we don't need. Reduce airspeed to 135 knots. Yes, we are below that. and throttle needs to be closed. Ah, okay. 1 second, how do I do that? 1 second, guys, I have to pause. Because what I need to do is I have to change the mapping in the meantime. 1 sec, huh? Wow, that's super quiet. The silence is eerie. Okay, so power management, throttle, this guy, yes. So instead of throttle axis 3, let's use this guy. So I have a separate throttle for 3, and the others have the same. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so let's put it that way. So I can control it separately. Good. So it says throttle closed. There we go. What's happening? The landing gears are going down, I think. Why is that? No? There's something happening, guys. I think I'm pitching up too much. Okay. 1 second, 1 second. Let's get some red lighting in here. Emergency mode, red lights. AJ, 38 months! Goodness. GG. Part of the magneto system. There's a trip somewhere. I think so. Might be. Okay, 1 second, guys. I'll get back to you in a bit. Let's just cover this for now. Throttle is closed. Okay, to avoid unfeathering into reverse, use the following procedures. Run the propeller governor to full high pitch, low RPM. Indicator light will come out on when... Ah, okay. Okay, so 1 second. I think what we should do is we shouldn't rush this. I think that's the #1 thing we should be not doing. So what I will do is stop this again. Let's stay stable for now, right? So what we can do is we can descend so that we can pick up some airspeed, get to a bit more safer altitude, a stable altitude, and then let's continue this exercise. Because I'm not sure why the landing gear is like that. It might be because of my speed. Alright, 1 second, guys, huh? Salt Lake City. Let's go and check that. 116.8. Okay, let's continue descending. Lose that altitude. There we go. Good morning, Jay. A fuse solenoid that detects engine power and disables the generator. Might be. Ah, yeah, might be. Disconnects the magnetos automatically. That would make a lot of sense, huh? To prevent them from dry firing. Cool stuff, man. Amazing analysis there. Okay, 1 second. Let's have a look at the safe altitudes first. So we are at 040 radial, 34 miles away from Salt Lake City, which is here. Salt Lake City is here. Right, 116.8, is that right? Yes, okay, good. Okay, is that the right one? Yes. So 040 radial is something like this, right? And we are, what, 30 miles away? Something like this. So we are somewhere here. And if you look at the minimum off-route altitude, we should be at least in this vicinity around 13,000. Let's say 14,000. So we can descend up to 14,000 safely without hitting any obstacles. Okay, so let's descend to 14,000 rather. Good. That might be more manageable for 3-engine operation. Can you just smack the landing gear horn light? I don't think it's clickable. I'm not even sure why it triggered. Yeah, it's weird. What I can do... Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that sunset. What I can do is I can turn on the hydraulic systems. And then I can try maybe to lower the landing gear. No, that at this speed, not really. Might actually break that. Let's have a look outside. Yeah, landing gear is not extended. But I'm not sure why that triggered. Probably some underspeed. When you go below a certain speed, probably gets a bit troublesome, huh? But okay, let's continue descending here. And while that's happening, let's observe it. I'll look for the landing gear horn. Maybe we can see that. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Landing gear failure. Let me pull back on the power here. Actually, you know what we can do? We can switch to low blowers. So let's do that. Let me move back to around 25 inches. And then let's go switch to low blowers. There you go. Oh, actually that's the opposite thing, huh? My bad. I should have increased the power instead of decreasing it. My bad, my bad. Let's go to 150 inches. That's more like it. Okay. But now we're going using low blowers. Okay, that's good. And let's continue descending to 14,000 feet. Let's get the local altimeter here. I guess we're close enough to Salt Lake City. Let's just get the altimeter at this airport. Local altimeter. Come on. One second, I'm looking at it wrong. There it is. 29906. Okay. 29906. Should be somewhere there. Same here. Continue descending. Man, that mountain is looking really close to us, huh? That looks beautiful. Okay. So I still don't know where that landing gear horn is coming from. Let me continue looking. Not the light. Well, I couldn't click it. Let's see. Let's try again if that works. You mean this red thing? I can't click it. The light's in the middle. Oh, you mean these ones? These are for fuel and oil pressure, I think. Yeah. That's for engine 3. Because fuel and oil pressure for engine 3 is not present anymore. So it's lighting up. Alright, 14,000. There we go. The landing gear lever is this guy. This red thing. So let's level out at 14,000. Okay. Hold there. If you can't click it, kick it. Sounds good to me. Salt Lake City might be somewhere there. Alright. So, how do we get rid of that thing? Well, we can slow down. Let me see if there's a landing gear horn. No. Landing gear warning horn. Okay, I see something. Alright, let's see. Where was it? Landing gear warning horn 9.11.3. This right here at the bottom of the PDF. A warning horn will sound when one or more throttles are retarded past the 1/4 open position and the gear is not down in. So it's just because of the throttle position. I see. Okay, a horn silencing button is mounted on the aft face of the control pedestals to silence the horn. Where is that? Horn silencing button. That's the one we want. That's the one that Brooke was mentioning. Mounted on the aft face, that's the back face of the control pedestal to silence the horn. Desirable when an engine is shut down. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So where is that? Aft face of the control pedestal is somewhere here, right? Am I reading it wrong? Oh, this guy. Look. Thank you, manual. Amazing. I love PMDG. It's amazing. This 300-page manual really works. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Alright, so that means we can actually turn off the hydraulics again. Right? Yes. If they didn't want pilots pulling circuit breakers, they wouldn't have installed them in the cockpit. Yeah, for emergency purposes, they would need to be accessed. Oh my goodness, look at this view, guys. And look at that engine, just feathered perfectly. That is amazing. That might be the thumbnail right there. Okay, now I think at this altitude we are stable. 3 engines can handle it just fine. Hey, thank you for following. Geo Aviator. Did I read that right? Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Look at our speed, guys. It's beautiful. Not bad at all. 180 knots indicated. Leveled at 14,000 feet and stable. 3 engines. Perfect. Manifold pressure. Let's go for 155 BMEP here. There we go. That looks good. You can still hear it. Which one? The buzzing sound in the ear? Well, the engine is something completely different. So I think what the manual was saying is when you have the throttle, one of the throttles pulled back forward or back all the way, then you get that landing horn. So if we push the throttle forward a bit, yeah, the warning disappears. You see the light disappears from there. If I pull it back again, then we get that warning again. But now we know how to turn it off like so. So the light is still there, but the horn at least is not anymore. Very nice. Whew. Okay, looking good, looking good. So now we're stable. We can start thinking about how to recover engine 3, because it shouldn't really be dead, right? We only turned it off and follow the feathering procedure, so we should be able to turn it back on, I hope. If not, then we land with 3 engines. 1 second. Okay, Mexican horn. Oh my goodness, Rohan would love that. Alright, unfeathering. So this is where we are at now. Unfeathering. Booster pump. So let's do that again. Booster pump to low. Using the auxiliary fuel tank again. The alternate fuel tank rather. Generator switch to on. Ignition switch to both. You guys are seeing this a bit? Barely, huh? Yeah, just trust me on this. Cowl flaps we don't need. That can remain 0. Fire extinguisher handle, yes, we put that full forward. Over there, yes. Push forward rather, fully. Crossfeed valve we don't really need, and we need to reduce our airspeed to 135 knots maximum. Okay, and then the throttle is closed. Okay, so what we need to do then is to pull back on the throttles, right? Slow down to 135 knots. So I'm pulling back the throttles right now. Maybe down to 80 BMEP. Let's see if that's enough to slow us down to 135. It would be much more calming in a stall if the horn played a nice classical piece. Oh yes, that's very true. It would calm some minds. It might not trigger the appropriate response from the pilots though. Might not trigger the adrenaline, huh? Okay, continue pulling back here. Maybe it would help if we deploy some flaps, right? Because that would slow us down to 135 knots. So let's turn on the hydraulic bypass lever here to get some access so we can extend our flaps. Flap extension speed is 174 knots. We are well below that, so we can go to flaps 20, I guess. 10, 15, 20. We see it indicating, moving. That should slow us down. There we go, 140 knots and slowing down. That's perfect. So what do we do when we're at 135 knots then? This is what I don't get. This is what I need help on, guys. 1 second, I'll show you. Alright, I'm monitoring the speed as well. Let's make sure we don't slow down too much. Run propeller governor to full high pitch, low RPM. Okay, so I'll pull it back fully, right? You guys understanding that the same way? Let me retract my flaps to 10. Might be too much drag. Indicator light will come on when high pitch position is reached. Pull feathering button out for not more than 2 seconds, then release it. Never hold the button out for more than 2 seconds. So that's like cranking, the equivalent of cranking the engine, I guess. Let's go full flaps up here. That should help speed us up. We're not below the stalls. We're not on the stall speeds anyway, so that should be okay. 1 second. Why are we descending? 1 second, 1 second. Am I not having enough power here anymore? Sorry guys, huh? So I'll have to postpone that a bit because I'll have to stabilize the plane a bit here. Going below the speeds I want. Okay, slowly getting back up there. Maybe I shouldn't have deployed flaps. It might have been too much. Okay, 1 second. Let's turn off the altitude control. Let's get the speed we need. And then let's go back up when we have it. Man, that is an amazing sunset, isn't it? Beautiful view outside. Helps to calm. Even if things are getting pretty hairy at the moment. So what we're doing, I think, with that low RPM is we want it to get the biggest bite of air to crank it maybe, right? And then we remove the feathering so that the propeller gets cranked, and when it does get cranked, then we put the mixture to full rich. So it's similar to when starting the engine, you're cranking it first, and when you hear it catching, then you push it, you apply, you feed it some fuel. I guess that's how it could work. So 1 second, let me have a look here. Something is happening. The engine is super hot. I don't like that at all. It's not a healthy engine. get some cowl flaps in here. Oh, and yes, because we're climbing, I think it's best if I do auto rich here. Auto rich, so we get some more power. Let's go to 40 inches. Right, and 2600 RPM. Oh crap, it's not working. Oh yeah, because I have it at 1 second, huh? There, 2400. This is pretty interesting. You guys see? I'm managing the RPM manually using these buttons. Because the propeller is not working at the moment. Okay, there we have it. Are we climbing now? Yes, we are. Okay, thank you. Let's climb back up to 14,000, get stable, and then we'll see how things go from there. And now the engine is colder. Okay, that's it. That's what we want. Oil temperature, oil pressure looking good. Alright, let's continue climbing here. That's how we want it. Okay, good. One step at a time, one step at a time. Let's not rush this. Maybe what we can do is level off first, pick up some speed. And then, okay, let's climb to 14,000. We're almost there. We should be able to manage that. Okay, we're slowing down here. That's good. Just enough for 135 knots. We're almost at flight level 1. At 14,000 again. 14,000. There we go. Right. Altitude control, please. Thank you. Going to fidget a bit. That's fine. There we go. Okay. And then let's go ahead and get back to 1 second, where is it? There it is. Let's get back to 2260 RPM. Let's pull back here 36 inches. And let's lower the RPM. Love it. The hum of the engine actually changes. Beautiful. Alright. That's looking good. Let's go to auto lean. Good. You're right. That's looking good, I think. Engine is breathing properly again. Okay, that's perfect. Alright. And cowl flaps. Close that again. Good. So now we want to slow down a bit, just a bit, to 135 knots, right? Now it didn't say if I move the auto switch to, if I change the propeller to auto again. Because remember, when we feathered the propeller, we set the propeller selector to manual instead of auto, the master control. It doesn't say to bring that back there. Not sure. Might have to decide that on our own. Okay, pull back. maybe 30 inches. We're getting close to 135 knots. Let's have a look outside. Oh, looks live traffic. See someone there at the back too. In our engine, still no go. Okay. You know what? It actually might be nice to head towards Salt Lake City, huh? On the way. Yeah, that might work. Let's try it. So Salt Lake City is that way. So a 1-2 something heading or course. There it is. Let's just go straight there. Nice. Good. And let's go this way. So now the plane should head straight towards the VOR, towards Salt Lake City. Good. Now we're slowing down. 120, 135 knots. Perfect. Okay. So let me just double check that we have all these things still set. Boost pump is low. Generator switch is on. Ignitions are on both. Cowl flaps are closed. Fire extinguisher handle is full forward. Fuel tank selector valve is... Oh, that one I don't think I have it set yet. 1 second. Oh, did I set that to alt already? Oh, I didn't put that back. Okay, good. And then cross-feed valve handle as desired. So close the throttle. Okay, looks good. And then... let's see. So we run the propeller governor to full high pitch, which is low RPM. So this way. Yeah, pull it back fully. Indicator light will come on when high pitch position is reached. And I think for that to happen, we actually have to turn on the prop governor because the blue light is not turning on. There you go. Is that actually what we want to do? I have my doubts. I think I did it wrong. Crap. Okay. And then we then pull out not more than 2 seconds. 1, 2. There we go. Is that working now? Is that working? Is that spinning? It's spinning, guys. It's spinning, it's spinning. Okay, it's spinning, but we still don't have power. So the only thing we need to do is to put that to... Ah, I hear it. I hear it. Good. Now let's get back our power. Get back in one piece. Some power in there. Oh, look at that. Engine 3 is alive, guys. Engine 3 is alive, I think. Let's double check. Still cold. The cylinder head is still cold. And overall, everything is looking hot. 1 second. Oil pressure is super high on engine 3. Oil temperature is cold. Oh. So might help if we pull it back for now to get the oil temperature a bit hotter. I'm not sure what I'm doing, guys. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Let's just see if that works. Okay. Let's go to auto rich for everybody. Engines are a bit hot. Oh, that's super hot actually. Let's go ahead and open that. So I'm not sure what's happening. We did get engine 3 back, but all the others are super hot at the moment. Why? What changed? How can we cool it down, guys? How can we cool it down? We can pull back on the power. Okay, it's cooled again. Nice, good. Engines are good. Oil temperatures are getting hotter. Oil pressure is rising. Okay, I think things are working now. Just a bit of a hiccup in the beginning. Nice. We have descended a bit here. But that's okay. That's okay. Alright. So let's maybe level off at 13,000. Let's level off here. Alright, there you go. 155 BMEP. That should be good cruising power. Now let's switch back to the main tanks. And I think we can do that by going through here. We need our fuel tanks to be on the low position. Our booster pumps rather. Low position. And then we need to move here. Move them back to the main. Right? Okay, no lights. No problem. All good. We're using the main tanks now. Perfect. Okay. Turn those off. Now we are at the correct setting again. Nice, and we're now picking up speed again. Perfect. Okay. Okay. And now it's super dark. So, things are stable, I think. Let's go ahead and close those cowl flaps again. Ooh. Getting really dark now. CHT looking good. All temperature, fuel pressure. Okay. Looking good, guys. Looking good. So what do we do? What do we do now? We need to determine where we are. So we are let's see. We are 305 degree radial from the Salt Lake City VOR. So this is the VOR. 305 radial on a 50 DME. Let's see. 305 50 DME. So we're somewhere here. Yes. Okay, looks good. Looks good. Now the weather in Salt Lake City looks like it's perfect for a landing on one of these runways. 16 left. Yeah, 16 left I think is fine. So we can try the ILS approach to 16 left. If we look at this guy, Sierra Lima Charlie, approach the 16 left ILS. This is the one. 109.5, 164 degree final approach course. Okay, 109.5. Let's see if I can tune that in. Might be too early, but let's see. 109.5, 109.5, 0.5. We're in the US. Okay, temperatures are still good. Yeah, I think we're back to normal, guys. We are back to normal. In auto, it's using the reference engine to match, so you'd imagine it goes to auto when it's up and running again. Right, it would just follow that, right? Yes, that would make sense. Cool. Okay, so we're back up to speed. We can actually start slowing down. So I'll pull back the throttles to maybe 80 BMEP, like so. So we can slow down, push the propeller forward to 2400 RPM, like so. That should slow us down a bit. Go back to 80 BMEP. Okay, that should slow us down bit by bit so that we are in flap extension speed when that happens. Okay, 109.5. Not yet capturing it. That's okay. So now let's go through the checks here. Hydraulic system is on. Flaps, we don't need that yet, but we are starting to slow down, so that's good. Might actually be a bit too early. Let's put it up to 100 knots. BMEP rather. Okay, good. So let's go for the approach checklist. Hey, thank you for following, Christopher. Welcome to the stream. So we are in auto reach for all. RPM is 2400, BMEP is 100. Good. So let's do the approach checklist. Seat belts are on. Carb heat is cold. Cowl flaps, let's put that to 4 degrees to prepare in case we need to do a go around. Looking good. And the glide slope is still not alive. Okay, fine. We do have a bit more time to spare. 36 miles. Looking good there. So this is the approach that we're following. Initial approach fix would be at Ogden. 115.7. 115.7. At 11,000. Okay. Okay, we can actually descend to 11,000. 115.7, huh? Okay, let's see. Is that alive? Yes, it is. And it is 16 miles away. Perfect, okay. So what we can do is start from there. Go to gyro pilot here. Go to 115.7. There we go. There's the VOR. Head straight towards that VOR. So let's just move this course needle until we're there. There we go. And then we can go to localizer mode to follow that. Let's also remove the altitude control so we can descend to 11,000 feet. Right. Good. 109.5 is the ILS. Still not alive. Okay, that's fine. Continue our descent down. Man, feels like a submarine here now. Okay, so let's look at the chart again. So Ogden 115.7, and then after we cross Ogden, we'll head on a 128-degree heading until we intercept the ILS 109.5. Okay. It's a bit tricky. We have this dive and drive kind of thing here, but eventually 6,000 would be the final approach fix altitude. 6,000, okay. So 11,000, and then I'm just going to, at iron descend to 6,000. I think that should be fine. And then level off there. The session altitude is 4427 feet. Good. Ah, yes, there you go. Feel free to join the Discord server, Christopher. Good. Pull back on the power. Hey Rohan, how's it going, man? What have you been up to? .4. Okay, so Ogden. Then we turn right 128 degrees. Okay, that's fair enough. Ooh, what airport is that? Maybe I should just land there. Don't follow any procedures at all. New Z-Mod sounds. Oh. Which one? The 8V92? Someone there. Okay, we're flying over the VOR soon enough. There's someone right in front of us as well. Let's level off here at 11,000 feet. That's good enough. Altitude control. Nice. Now that we're close, let's go to localizer mode and turn right 128 degrees. Looking good there. One to 8, there it is. That's close enough. 128 degrees. 130, yeah, there's the runway in front of us. Nice. $11,000. Let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights. Good. Landing lights are on. 109.5, still not alive, huh? Interesting. Should be soon. Keep it at 100 EVP. Lots of live traffic in here. Nice to see. .8. 116.8 would be the Wasatch VOR. Wasatch? That's the VOR in Salt Lake City that we've been tracking a while ago. Okay, but yes, the ILS itself is still not alive, interestingly enough. Yeah, there's the runway. We just passed it. Interesting. I wonder how that goes. Okay, then what we can do is actually turn right, start descending to 6,000 feet. So let me move my flaps to 20, 10, 15, 20. Remove altitude control. Start descending at 1,000 feet per minute. There you go. Let's do a visual approach for the moment. Descend to 6,000 feet. The GS is short like 3 miles out at 6,000, so just intercept the localizer. Ah, okay, thank you. Let's see then. Should be ready by then. Do have visual of the runway. So let's see if I'm not missing anything. Okay, everything looks good so far. Yeah, I think so. I think we're set. Well, landing lights are on. How far away are we? Okay, the ILS I think is alive, isn't it? Yes, the ILS is alive now. That's good. So let's go and switch to localizer and approach. Turn landing gear down. There we are, lining up for 1-6 left. That's the one in the center. Let's have a check if we're in the correct path here. Let's see. Tomi 16.4. We should be at 9,000. We're a bit high actually. We are a bit high. Okay, let's maybe stretch it out a little. Go to flaps 30. Try to descend a bit higher. Yeah, there's the glide. The glide slope is alive. Let's remove autopilot here and hand fly this the rest of the way. There it is. Not too shabby. We can do it. Should be far enough still. Looking good. Am I missing anything? Let's do the gumps check. Maybe that helps. Gas, all main tanks, undercarriage. We have 3 greens. Mixture, auto rich. Propeller is 2400, so that's good. Switches, we have landing lights on. Okay, good. Good for landing. Let's continue. Let's catch up to the glide. It does seem like we're okay here. Should be 6,000 feet by 7.5 DME. So it shouldn't be that bad. Yeah, looks like we'll make it. It's easy does it. Bring that back in. Follow the localizer. We're at flaps 30 already. Okay, that's good. There it is. Looking good there. So we can go flaps 40. Should be within the white arc. So we can slow down even more. Flaps 50 even. Get a bit sharper turn. Yeah, still a bit high. That's okay. Good. Am I at flaps 50 already? Yes, I am. Still high. Okay. Good. Go a bit deeper. Everything good. Engine's breathing fine. No warnings, no lights. Perfect. Still a bit high, but that's fine. Let me study a bit the airport diagram though, because I'm not sure where we will go after we land. 16 left, turn right. Okay. Oh, and this is actually perfect. We'll get to see how the taxiways look like from this point of view. Right? The real taxiway should be included. Should have this in scope as well, if I remember correctly. Laterally we are okay. Vertically we are pretty high. So let's descend a bit more. Looking good. Dive a bit maybe, just a tad. Catch up to the glide, there it is. Ease it down. Lose that speed. There it is. There's the marker. Oh crap. Oh, that's too fast. My bad. Okay, there it is. Reversers, please. Whew. Not in the center. Oh, don't you go away from me. This is the problem with the rudders on the DC-6. If you land in the wrong angle, it's very hard to correct them, because they kind of like have that delay with the rudder. Oof. That was a rough ride. That was close, I know, right? My bad. Whew. But at least we get some nice taxiways after landing. Hotel 5 looks good. Let's go and turn off the pitot heat here. Hotel 5, where is that? Okay, I see it. Hotel is right there. Why do I feel like we don't have lights? We do, supposedly. Oh yeah, we do. Just very weak. Nice. Lots of stutters, yeah. Lots of stutters. Very heavy airport. Not the best performance on the DC-6. Yeah. It's a bit dark here, right? The default airport and everything should be more lit up. But we can take it. That's okay. We can get used to it. Right, let's see. What did I miss? A lot. Let's open the cowl flaps fully. Cowl flaps don't even want to open anymore. It's so laggy. How's our situation on the fuel? Oh, that's interesting. Look at this, guys. Because we shut down engine 3, we actually have almost still full fuel on the alternate tanks as compared to the other tanks, right? They definitely got consumed a lot more. Oh, that's interesting. Cool. Oh, that actually worked. We recovered engine 3. I'm happy enough with that. Alright, let's shut down the engines here. That sounds super quiet. Eerily quiet. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Lights are not the best, but we'll take it. Good. So let's clean up the plane. And we should be good to go from there. Did the sim just crash on me? I think the sim just crashed on me, guys. Perfect. No wonder it was slowing down. Okay, it couldn't handle the heat. Couldn't handle all that amazingness. Let's have a look at our breadcrumbs before we go. Ah, alright, so that's cool. So indeed, we departed from Eagle. We kind of did a loop just to gain more altitude, and then we followed on, proceeded with the departure, and then we just went straight all the way while we were doing our experiments, right? And then when we were happy, we recovered engine 3, we went back, followed the ILS, where is it? We kind of shot past it and then went back, and there it is. 16 left. And then parked somewhere here. Right. Is that Hotel 5 where we exited? That doesn't seem like Hotel 5. Oh, anyway. Okay, cool. Whew. So that was a successful experiment. I'll take that. 11 a.m. Oh yeah, perfect timing. Wow. 11 a.m. hype. All right. So yes, thank you guys for keeping me company. Thanks for accommodating these experiments. And I'll see you tomorrow for some train sim. Have a good day. Have a good night. Catch you tomorrow for some train sim world. Thanks for watching and Clumsy Flying. Thanks guys. Appreciate the company and catch you soon. Good luck. Clumsy Flying. Stutter and dump exactly. Goodness.